A Kentucky chef made a name for herself on the hit show Top Chef. Sara Bradley finished as runner-up, and now she is joining us from her kitchen in Paducah at her restaurant Freight House. Hi, Sara.
Hello, so excited to be here.
I know, it's great to have you on the show for the first time. So you were runner-up of Top Chef season 16 that aired in 2019. So how did that change? What has your life been like since then, being on the show?
I think if you look back to 2019, so much has happened since then. I mean, so much. I have a little girl now. The restaurant has done really well. Even through times of being closed down, we've just had so much going on, but life it just keeps getting better and better.
And how did you have to pivot during this pandemic? Because now you're offering a lot of online classes, and that's another way that people can learn from you.
Yeah, so we do a lot of online classes. We've started doing to go, which we said we would never do. We now do to go. Lots more special events, and we're at a limited capacity, so we've decreased our menu size a little bit, but it's also allowed us to do things that we never thought we would do before. So it's really been a lot of fun. I've looked for the positive in everything.
Well, what are you going to make for us today?
So today I'm going to do something, it's got a lot of Kentucky ingredients in it, and it's a great dessert for this time of year. So we're going to do an apricot ginger skillet cake. It's got some Kentucky cornmeal in it. It's also got a little sorghum, some pecans. This is great for this time of year because there isn't a ton of local fresh fruit. So as chefs, we're looking for something that's seasonal. This is the one time of the year where we can use like tropical stuff. And then we also use a ton of dried fruit. So I am the website or your website, they'll be able to find the recipe for this, right?
Yes.
So in this bowl right here, what I do is I start with all my dry ingredients: flour, sugar, baking powder, and soda, a little salt. You guys always put salt in your desserts, even if it's just a little pinch. Then over here in this bowl, I've got all my wet ingredients. So I've got sour cream, eggs, sorghum, which we have a farm down here in Kentucky that does our sorghum, or in Paducah that does sorghum just for us. It's beautiful. And then I'm going to add a little bit of melted butter right at the end. And don't add that early because it'll just turn back from not melted butter into little chunks of butter sitting in that cold sour cream. What I do is right here in the middle of my dry ingredients, I'm going to add my wet ingredients. And when you're making something like this, you don't want to overwork the batter because you're going to develop a bunch of gluten, and then you're not going to get that really nice rise. It's not going to be super tender. You slowly mix these together. So you can see how little I'm mixing. I just want everything to come together. And it's kind of a thick batter. And I'm not using a whisk too. That's another good thing. If you don't want to develop gluten, don't use a whisk, because a whisk has a bunch of little fingers that stir, stir, stir. This is just like one finger.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah. So you can see right here, there's a few little dots of flour still in there. Totally good. So pan, I've got melted butter. So normally this pan would come straight out of the oven. I would have a towel, but for you guys, I'm showing you the secrets behind the scenes. So now we're going to go about half of our batter in here, spread it out nice and thin. And as soon as this batter hits the pan, it'll start to spread out because that butter will start to melt. Then we're going to do some diced apricots. They're my favorite. They have they're mildly sweet. I'm going to do those all right in the middle. And the reason I put these in the middle of the batter is because since they do have a lot of sugar in them, they tend to burn if you drop them right on top. Okay. Then we're going to go in with the rest of the batter.
And with the cast iron skillet, Sara, what tips do you have for people? What do we need to be doing to get the most out of our skillet?
Don't let your husband leave it in the sink overnight and it turn all rusty. If you don't have time to wash it right away, just leave it to sit. I mean, there's many a times where I just leave my cast iron skillet overnight because I don't have time to wash it. And then in the next day, I just use gently a little bit of soap and water. I know some people think that's horrible, but just to give it kind of sanitize it a little bit, I use warm water, wash it out, rub a little oil in there. It's good to go. That's it. But don't let them sit around in water. That's number one. Okay. And don't ever try to scrub all the black stuff off. That's the good stuff. You want all that. After you get your batter in there, just going to go back. These are some Kites pecans. This is a local pecan farm here in Paducah. And I just like to sprinkle those all over the top. And then a little bit of brown sugar. And I like the dark brown sugar. Sprinkle that right over the top. And then this goes in your oven, 350 degrees. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes in a convection oven, maybe a little longer if you don't have convection. And when it's done,
through the magic of television,
oh la la, it looks just like this. So it gets this really good caramelized color, really nice and dark, almost like a gingerbread. And you can see right here in the middle, still warm. It's really nice and moist. It's not too sweet. The apricots are still chewy, super easy. And you can use this base recipe and change it up. Do blueberries in the summer, strawberries in the spring. It's a great base recipe. So that's it, you guys.
So how can people learn more about you and sign up for your classes?
Yeah, so if you're looking for information on the restaurant, you're going to go to freighthausfood.com. If you want to check out some of our cooking classes, you go to chefsarabradley.com. And that's Sarah, S-A-R-A, no H. People that are named Sarah, they know what I'm talking about. And we just posted a whole new round of classes all the way up through March and into April. We have cocktail classes, children's classes, baking, steak. We cover all kinds of stuff. And we also do a lot of private classes. So if you're looking for something to do with a small group or for your business, you just reach out and we'll set you up.
Paducah is a wonderful town. It's about 250 miles from Lexington. So, if people are just looking for a getaway, it would be a great place to go for a weekend.
Yeah, it's super easy. I'll tell you, if you were to leave the dorms that I lived at when I was in college, which I lived in Blanding 2, which I just found out is no longer there. Blanding 2 to my childhood home was 256 miles. I mean, I knew every exit on the West Kentucky Parkway. It's such an easy drive. And I think that this is a great way to travel during the pandemic, is to travel local and travel small. You don't have to plan these huge trips. Come down to Paducah. We have all kinds of stuff, great outdoors activities once the weather gets nice. So, and really good food too.
And a great little shout out to your alma mater, the University of Kentucky.
Yeah, go Cats.
Go Cats. Sara Bradley, thank you so much. We look forward to having you on the show again.
Yeah, thanks everybody. See you guys soon.